Hi there everybody and welcome to this video. Today we'll be discussing one of the new updates to Business Central. So it's a fairly recent update and it's basically one that allows you to add multiple fields, or any field rather, to a page within the Business Central environment. So this sort of ties in with one of the videos that we've done previously around adding fields to a page in Business Central. I'll place the link into the description of this video just for reference for you, but I'll also pop the link into the Microsoft Learn page around this particular functionality. So what is this update? Well, it's basically a slight change in the way that we can add fields to a page in Business Central. And in order to show you this, let me just go to my customers list here. And what I'm going to do is go to my settings cog and go personalize. Okay. So this is the functionality which is going to let me add and remove fields. So let me just go plus field here. And this is where we observe the changes that have been made. Okay, so we've got a little drop down here in the add field to page section. This is currently set to recommended fields. Okay, and there's a new bit of functionality here which says all fields, and it is in preview mode in this environment that I have at the moment. So I should mention as well that some of this stuff you can only do when you're customizing roles. So as you can see there in the tooltip that comes up there, it says on the bottom of that section of text that this feature is only available when customizing roles. So I'll run through that again a little bit later, just so you can see how that looks. But if I come down to the next section here, which is advanced, what you can see is that they've basically placed some options here into different sections. So we've got the category, the source, and the visibility section here. And basically you can use these different options. So I'm not going to go through all of them here, because you see that we get tooltips appear to the left of the option, which explains what that particular option does. But essentially, they're basically going to change the fields that you have visible on the right-hand side here in the Add Field to Page section. So if I go into there again, and what I can say here is page fields bound to a table, I'm going to untick that. And you can see what that has done in the right hand side here is it's removed all of the fields that I could have added to my customer table. So if I go in and tick that again, and they all come up. And then there's some different other options that we have. But as I say, guys, just to save time here, I'm not going to go through all of these. Just have a play whenever you get time and see what they do. So one of the features that is quite cool is the fields already shown on page in the sort of list that we have here. And what I can do is tick this here. And what we then get is, if I jump back to my field list, you'll notice we've got sort of looks like a little eye, but it either has a cross through it if you can't see that particular field, or it doesn't have a cross through it if you can see that particular field. So here I selected base calendar code, and you can see here it's not visible right now, but it's giving me a suggestion for where I can place that field, and I can go in and I can say show. Okay, but just before I do that, you'll notice that it's also giving me a tooltip here. Excuse me, it's also giving me a tooltip here, which is basically giving me an idea of what the field does. The size of that field, how many characters can I have in that field, and where is that field come from, i.e. is it in the base application from Microsoft, or is it in an extension, is it in a modification? We can use that tooltip to discover that. Okay, so I can either go show on this here, and that shows the base calendar code, or if I pick the blocked one here, what I can do is I can just click and drag that across whilst holding, and it will add in the blocked column there. So one of the other functions here is, which I think is pretty cool, is if I find some fields that are already added in. So I've got the number field here. If I click that, see what it does is it highlights where that number field is for me. If I click on phone number, you can see it highlights the phone number. Okay, so this is basically just a quick way that I can go ahead and I can find where a field is added on a page. Obviously pages can be quite large. List views can have lots of different columns in there, lots of different fields in there. So it's basically a quick way that I can figure out where a field is located on a page. Quite a nice touch. Okay, so one of the other functions which they've added in is if I go onto a customer card, against a field on a page, what I can do is click the little red arrow here and I can say lock editing. Now what this basically does is it makes that field uneditable. Okay, so I can come in to the name field here and I can say lock editing. So that's now grayed out, that field, because I've locked editing. I can go in again and I can unlock editing there if I want to. Now we can use this, obviously it's quite a powerful tool to just lock down editing on those fields which we don't think users should be editing, and this can be done at profile level, don't forget, right? So we're customizing a profile. If there's a subset of users who you want to not be able to access or edit a particular field, you can do that using this functionality. And just bear in mind here, you can't do that on all fields. Obviously the balance LCY here is a flow field, and not sure if that's coming through there on the recording, but unlock editing is grayed out. So I can't actually unlock or lock editing on those types of fields. Okay, so let me go back and press done here. And you can see the name field is now uneditable, right? So in the profile that I was working in, that has now become uneditable. But don't forget, I can go in and say personalize and just make that editable again. Okay, so one other thing that I want to show you as part of this video is if I go into profiles, what I can do is access the other area of the new functionality there by going into the profile that I want to work with. In this case, it's just finance user. And if I say customize pages, what this does is it opens BC in customization mode. And within customization mode, if I go to the same page that we've been working on, which is the customers, I can go plus field, and over here now you'll see it's got all fields selected. Okay, so I can't do that in personalization mode. I can only do that in customization mode, right? So the idea is I come into customization mode, I go into all fields, and then I add the fields that I want to into this particular page. So I can say allow multiple posting groups, for example. I can go in and let me just say, drag that over, sorry, and reveal that particular field on the page. And I won't do any more, guys, but you get the idea. Okay, and that's basically everything that I wanted to show you in this customization mode. So if I press done on this now, I'll just close my tab here and let me go back to my customers, and you'll see that I have the allow multiple posting groups field added in. So previously we would need to do a small bit of development to add that type of a field in. So if the field was available on the page, on the underlying table rather, but not on the page, we would have to do a bit of development. But now you don't need to do that development. You can just go into customization mode, and that will allow you to add any field onto the table, onto the page, from the table onto the page rather. So I hope you found that video helpful. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.